Well, guys, it's that time again to review another movie. So today we're going to be reviewing The Watchers. This movie came out just a few months ago, or perhaps it was last month. I've seen so much recently, everything feels like I watched so long ago. So if you're familiar with M. Night Shyamalan, I know I completely botched his last name, but he's responsible for the movies Unbreakable, Split, Glass. His most recent work is Knock at the Cabin, and his new movie coming out is Trap. He's done plenty of movies from it looks like the 90s to current. His daughter is Shauna Night Shyamalan. I really hope he doesn't watch these videos. And anyway, so his daughter made her directional debut with The Watchers. This is a movie, I believe it did come out beginning of last month, and it was pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Dakota Fanning is the star in this movie, and it's one of those horror movies where there's just a small collection of characters, so there's not a lot of open world, 20 to 30 characters in a movie. This is just basically 4 or 5. And this one is really interesting because it takes a lot of different concepts and implements them into this movie where it can sort of stand for something. You can, in your mind, have a stand-in for maybe thoughts and ideas and themes that it's portraying, or you just take it for what it is, and it's just people versus creatures. And so those things are interesting when it gives you sort of different ideas that you can have a lot of different people have different opinions on their take on a movie like this one. And so basically, the plot in this movie is there's this forest where everyone just dies when they're there, unless they know where to go and where to stay. That's where these small collection of characters come in, where Dakota Fanning's character, she shows up and finds these characters. So their rules are they have to stay in this building at night, and they're basically being watched, hence the name The Watchers. And they don't know what these creatures are. They don't know what they look like. They don't know what they are. They don't know what they want. All they know is if they stay in this building at night, they're safe. So, of course, the survivors, or the characters who've been there a while, are going to be more strict with these rules. They don't want to endanger anyone, and they definitely don't want to risk death. The forest seemingly is way too large to venture and find the end of it before night. And so there's just this dread. Everyone just feels like they're doomed in this movie. So the stakes are high. There's a lot of serious tones in this movie. There's not a lot of comedy at all. There's a couple of parts that can be funny, but this is mostly a serious movie. And so it's just something different. Horror comedies are great. I love horror comedies, but it's nice to see a serious one thrown in there as well. And that's what this one was. And as a plot, carries through the movie, obviously they're eventually going to figure out what the creatures are. They figure out what they can do, and they eventually start building toward how they're going to escape. That's everyone's ultimate goal here in this forest. And I just love the idea they chose. Basically, the creatures were fairies. So to see something so visually disturbing, just something so violent. So I just really love the choice of fairies because, there's all kinds of different interpretations of them. So to see them being implemented in a horror movie, taking their wingless sort of demon-y form, I thought it was interesting. It was an interesting choice. And I thought it was an entertaining movie. It was definitely intense. You're on the edge of your seat. Of course, in the third act, when they're trying to escape, when you start feeling maybe it could happen, everything's building more and more intense the closer it gets toward its big ending. But the catch is, for this movie, these characters do in fact escape the forest, but that's not the end of the movie. There is still another plot twist. And when this plot twist happens, they find out that one of their own is a watcher, as they're calling them in the movie. And so now the few characters left, they try to figure out what to do about it, because now this Watcher that sort of dominated them for a while has now been brought out to the rest of the world. It turns out the Watcher was trapped in the woods as well. And this Watcher, it's different. There's a different story. There's connection to one of the characters. It's really interesting. I thought it was a great plot twist. It just sort of revved up the intensity even more, especially after a couple minutes after the scene that you assume is the ending, and then it's not. Then there's another final showdown, and it just sort of has this bleak ending where you feel like there might end up being a sequel, but if there isn't, I think that'd be perfectly okay. So, irregardless, I thought this was a very interesting movie. It's weird because I didn't dislike the movie at all. I didn't love it. It's not toward the top of any of my lists. But this was very interesting. It's nice to see the director's daughter is now taking on horror movies similar to her father. So it's very interesting to see that now both of them are going to be tackling the horror genre. Hopefully, with this movie, will be successful enough for her that her and her father can both be pumping out movies, and we just get that much more horror movies dumped into the genre from, in my opinion, very solid directors. So I'm excited to see if this movie does get a sequel. If it does not, I'll be content. But irregardless, Shyamalan has now had her directional debut. We'll see what the next movie for her is. And I think this could be powerful family and filmmaking, making interesting movies one after another. So I'm excited. I thought this movie was great. I recommend it for anyone who loves just sort of this creature movie. That's what it is. It's a creature movie. So if you've been thinking about it, I would check it out. Give the director a chance. Give this cast a chance. I think it's very entertaining. Thanks for watching.